Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. I'm back this week. So, listen, life really is a little bit dark and a little bit miserable if I'm back. But luckily I'm here with Stu, and he will attempt to bring you some light and some joy. I don't know where that's going. How you doing, Stu?
I'm all right. Oh, you always bring joy to me. But yeah, no, it's not a bright and joyous day, but I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm bringing the energy, bringing the love today. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got. I don't know what to touch outside of video games at the moment because it just feels like everything is just so. What's the word I'm thinking of? What's a nice word I can use? Fucked.
I was going to say dystopian, which is not a nice word, but it's not a swear word. But fucked is just as good.
I mean, dystopian. I could deal with dystopian. It's like Children of Men and stuff like that. You know, I can work out how to deal with that, but it's just. And again, you get people that are lending support behind certain things that have no idea what they're talking about, and you're like, oh, I'm surprised you're doing that. And okay, do you not quite know what's going on? And news reporting is all over the shop, and I don't know. You can't have general conversations. You can't go, oh, I like, you know, what's happening to Palestine's wrong, but I don't actually support Hamas. No, honestly, I don't support terrorist actions, but you've got to understand what's happening to Palestine is wrong. Why we are yet? Just no, okay, I'm just going to back into my corner because this is not fun at all.
No, it's not. No, it's very difficult to, once you get into like, not only culture wars, but actual wars, it's getting into some dodgy territory.
Yes.
It's good. It's worth talking about at some point, but it's so hard to talk about.
Yes. You've also got, hey, our country's fucked.
Yep.
You got to vote for Labour, right? Because it's the only way you're getting the Tories out at the moment, right? But Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of charlatans and whatevers, and I just... Oh, God. I just don't know anymore, Stu.
I know. Well,
You've got the current potential future Prime Minister going, he fucking hates Liverpool, despite having the conference there. And it's just like, that was your one golden ticket in this country. The one part of the country that would blindly vote for Labour to keep the Tories away, and you've just done that. And it's just like, ugh.
Yeah, didn't he say that he would interview with The Sun or something?
He said he did. He said he's happy to interview with The Sun and have stories in The Sun and write for them and stuff like that. And right, so listen, right, just go a bit off. I get it from a Prime Minister's point of a potential, you know, the opposition leader's point of view. He's got to reach as many people as possible, and that does include, unfortunately, appearing in scummy newspapers. I get it. Choose your time or your words carefully when you want to talk about that. Don't go to Liverpool, do an interview in Liverpool, and go, I'm very happy to write for The Sun. Don't do that, you pillock.
I know. That whole thing was a complete mess.
So yeah, our country's fucked. Other countries are fucked. Our morals are fucked. And I'd like to say, do you know what's not fucked, Stu?
I don't think there's much that isn't, but go on, I'll listen.
I would like to say video games, but you know.
Yeah.
There's been shenanigans at EGX. I'm not quite sure what's going on there at the moment. I've not
really?
read up about it, but yeah, apparently there's been shenanigans going on with some of the panels and everything, like the way people are being treated. And yeah, apparently that's all not very nice. You've got corporations buying corporations and studios being shut down left, right, and centre again, and layoffs and.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to introduce something nice. I think I'll introduce some nice counterpoints
Go on then, please.
for people to focus on this week. Right. First off, if you have any interest at all in speedruns, and I know not everybody does, and I understand that, but if you do, watch Games Done Quick and go back to Summer Games Done Quick. Now, not only is the atmosphere in the arena when they're playing these games, electric in most cases, really exciting. You might learn something about games. You might learn about how they're broken in fun ways, but you also learn about like how nice the community is and can be, and non-toxic. It's really, really inclusive. There's lots and lots of trans people who participate. It's very female friendly as well. It's just a fantastic inclusive space. It's worth have a look. Google like the name of like one of your favourite games of the last, say, 10 years. Google that with SGDQ following it, and you will no doubt come up with something really, really good. So I recommend you do that, because that's like a really good, non-toxic, really positive way of getting engaged with good content. Also, you know, if you're interested in Twitch streamers, try and find one that you know is really positive, really nice. There's lots of them who are great. Try that. Also, you know, the Steam Next Fest, if you've got a PC and you play your games via Steam, have a look at Next Fest, have a look at some of the developers. There's a lot of people producing games that are intended to promote good mental health, whether it's overtly or whether it's just because they're pretty and gentle, you know. Have a look at that, watch the developer interviews, and that's helpful as well. And that's a kind of little package, I would say, is good for your mental health.
I will try and put a couple of links at the bottom of when this goes up on the website and everything as well. I'll try and put a couple of links down there. But if you want some wholesome Twitch streamers, you can follow, and the links will be there. You've got our very own Sad Shadow, Rebecca.
Yep.
You've got our very own, these are alumni. They don't really write for us anymore because they're doing their own things. And I'm happy that they're so successful with what they're doing.
Yeah.
The amazing Awesome Fox, who is also a Rebecca.
Yep.
Who does art streams and stuff like that. It's really, really good. Someone who's not obviously alumni, I've never spoke to them before or anything like that, but it's a game I've just started playing. And I think it's really good to see games from people of colour actually get the recognition they deserve. But Zalavia Nelson Jr., who done El Paso Elsewhere, is getting rave reviews. It's like the Max Payne-esque sequel with PS1/2 era visuals that we didn't know we needed, based around vampires and zombies.
Wow.
And I've touched on it briefly, and I slept on it. It's not even been out that long, but I kind of like didn't ignore it. It was like, it's one I'll get to at some point. It's nice and dark, so I can play it even with my visual issues, which we'll get to later. But yeah, check that out because that's really good. Hadn't been given a code for it, not reviewing it for anything or anything as such. I'll probably talk about it down the line, but give that a look. Support creators of colour, support trans creators, because it doesn't matter what Graham Linham says. Trans and LGBTQ and people of colour creators do make great stuff, and they do matter because, hey, that's such a good community. And as you said, games done quick, awesome games done quick, summer games done quick, all of them are absolutely brilliant. You haven't even got to watch them, stab them on in the background, and just the wholesomeness just like seeps into you. So yeah, I'm glad you interrupted me with some goodness, because I don't know where I was going at the start.
No, but I mean, it's important, and you know, it's important that you highlight the bad stuff as well as the good. And just very briefly, like, I think, you know, when there's a cultural movement that's very positive, the people who recognise and understand the joy of it and want to be part of that and want to promote how happy they are, you know, they're encouraged by the leadership of your country, and that, you know, it becomes very positive. And the discourse in the general public is very positive, but you can miss out on the fact that there's a growth of something nasty going on if you're not careful. And on the flip side of that, when things are horrible like they are at the moment and the right is on the rise, you've got to remember that most people are nice, most people are lovely, and they just don't have the voice to express that. And so the you know, caution, you know, relative caution at some points, but also, you know, amplify that joy wherever you can. I know that sounds really wishy-washy and new agey, but that's how I feel, really.
No, totally. We will move on to talking about some games. Probably what was the longest segue we've done so far.
For a while, definitely, yeah.
It is, that's a very long segue. I'm going to go first because I've got two, you've got one. And mine leads straight away into positivity and wholesomeness, so I'm going to go first. So, first up, I've been playing a game called Ooblets. Okay. Ooblets. Basically, what if Pokemon, what if Stardew Valley have a baby?
Oh.
That's Ooblets. So basically, it's a farming life sim type RPG thing that's going on. So you got to you create your farm, and I think you go to this magical land, and they have little creatures there, little like small monstery, creaturey type things that don't fit in your pocket. So they kind of fit in your oob. I don't know what an oob is. I just made that up. But yeah, little creatures inhabit, and you get to befriend them and own them and stuff like that. Now, we've seen all these kind of things before where people go, what about Pokemon, but with? Okay, I think that's an actual genre these days. What about Pokemon, but with? We saw it with cassette beasts and stuff like that. So what I think happens is, I think you're a developer, you go, what about Pokemon? You press the randomizer button and you see what word pops out. And then it's, what about Pokemon, but with? So this is, what about Pokemon, but with dancing?
Nice.
Yeah. So creatures have battles, but they don't fight each other. They have dance-offs.
I like that idea.
That's the game. It's a life sim. You go about, you build your farm, you get to go and meet people, a la Stardew Valley and games such as that, Animal Crossing. By the way, Animal Crossing Lego's coming soon. Don't tell anybody because that's dangerous. It's got little mini games in this as well, so it's got a little bit of Viva Pinata in there, like the original Viva Pinata, not the really crap mini game collection. But there's a little bit of a Viva Pinata vibe to it as well in certain places. There's all these different regions in there. They each got their own look. So there's like this like pier. What do they call it in America? It's got a different name. Boardwalk type thing. It's got like arcades in there and stuff like that. There's like a swamp area. There's deserts. It's just loads of different areas there that are just really cool. It's like a mountainous, frozen like mountain area as well. You get to go discover it all with all these little like ooblet creatures. There's a shop in there again. It's all like Animal Crossing vibes there. It's a shop where you can buy and sell and sort of like it's got like little things. It's like you can negotiate prices in there as well in the shop. So you don't just go in and go, oh, this thing's this amount. There's like a little mini game that allows you to negotiate the price, and you can get things cheaper, or you might have to end up paying more. You can sell the stuff that you've grown in your farm, and it's got all that. It's not as deep as Stardew Valley, and I wouldn't say like the creature collecting and battling is as deep as Pokemon. But what they've done really cleverly here is instead of going, right, let's try and make the deep version of Pokemon and a deep version like Stardew Valley and meld them together, they've got, right, what's fun about Stardew Valley? What's fun about Animal Crossing? What's fun about Pokemon? Let's take those fun areas and put them together. So it's almost just like taking the top slice of all those things and then putting them together to make what is just a nice, cozy game. It's not going to change the world. It's not going to be the next big thing or anything like that. But it's just a lovely, cozy game that you could just pick up, spend a day in it, half hour in it, couple of hours in it, a week in it, whatever you really want to do, and you'll find something to do. And it's just a lovely, fun, cozy game, which I highly recommend if you're feeling miserable.
Nice. It's got a lovely graphical style. It's kind of
Castily, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit Katamari reminiscent as well, graphically. Yeah.
And it's got a cute movement to it as well. It's got like movements are fun. Like all the characters like are bouncy I suppose it's like they're all like constantly like to the beat dancing kind of bounce to them. Every single one of them. So it just oozes positivity from the moment you turn it on, right the way through. And obviously you could dress your characters up because that's always important in games like this. Not hidden behind any microtransactions or anything like that. Buy the game, play the game, works fine on Steam Deck, works fine on whatever. I would argue, and again from an accessibility point of view, because of the art style, it is a bit difficult for me at times. I've had to put it down while I'm having some visual issues. But I can't. It's one of those where I don't know what I can say because I don't think you can change the art style to make the art style darker because it would just ruin the tone of the game. So I don't know what to say with regards to that, or what they could do. The UI is lovely. The UI is fine. It's just it's a bright game, so that it's not putting me off, but that stops me playing a little bit at the moment. But again, I can't even go, well, they could do this and make it better in that way. Not, it's an art style choice, and yeah, there's that to it. That's the only negative I've got, is that I can't play it properly at the moment because of my visual issues. But aside from that, I can't wait to be able to maybe be a little bit better to play it some more.
Yeah, no, I think in terms of that accessibility, I don't think there's an easy out of, because we talked about it before. I don't feel there's an easy out of, oh, well, you know, that's the graphical style. Because, yeah, you shouldn't adjust the graphical style in-game as standard to account for all sorts of accessibility. But you should have options that just do stuff like radically change how it presents. And I don't think... Well, I don't know. I suppose there are issues if some of the gameplay depends upon colour, but then you should be thinking about that from the start of the game. And I always go back to there's a board game called Splendor, which it has different coloured gems in it, but the gems are also of a different shape, so that you can always tell between them, even if you're colourblind or have any visual accessibility issues. So, it's kind of a root and branch thing, but it is a shame that they don't have that in. But, it does sound like a great game apart from that. It really sounds nice. It's it seems to be, like, not expensive, but, maybe not the cost that you would expect. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
It's about right. I think sort of like, if you're into these sort of games, I think you're absolutely fine. 25 quid, I think, is fine if you're into these sort of games. It might be a bit much if you're unsure about any of the genres. But honestly, if I'd have paid 25 for this, I'd have been happy. I mean, obviously, I did get a code for it, so I didn't pay anything, and I think it's well worth it. I might have ummed and ahed about picking it up at 25, and I may well have steered more towards that. I'll wait for a sale, but I don't think I'd have regretted picking this up because there's hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of this game. I'd say if you're into an Animal Crossing or Pokemon or Stardew Valley, you're looking at those sort of prices anyway. If not double for some of them. So, I think it's about right for what they're doing. But again, if you're not 100% sure about any of the genres, then, probably maybe wait on a sale. But I wouldn't recommend. But again, if you are into any of them, I think you've got a brilliant game at a good price.
Nice. Yeah, fair play. Yeah, excellent.
So, moving on. What treacherous stuff have you been doing, Stu?
Cool. Funny you should say that. So... I've been... It's almost as if you can read my mind, or we talked about things before the show. I know.
No, people won't believe
no,
that.
Actually, no.
The mind-reading stuff, that's more plausible.
Definitely is. But so I've been playing something called Treachery in Beatdown City, which is one of those that you probably wouldn't be able to guess, really, from the title, what kind of a game it is, because it's a kind of unusual genre mashup. So, do you remember Doom RPG?
Yes, I do actually.
Yeah, well, this is nothing like Doom RPG, but the genre mashup thing is very much the same. So, Doom RPG was like turning the Doom game play into a turn-based RPG, still in first person. Really, really good. I played it on a pre-smartphone. It was that long ago, and this is kind of similar in that it turns a beat 'em up, so a scrolling beat 'em up, basically Double Dragon, into a RPG, really. So what you do is you get your little character in NES style graphics, and you move them across a little map, a world map, a bit like in the Turtles game, I think, on the NES. And then you go into fights, and the fights you have to position yourself strategically like you do in scrolling beat 'em ups, but instead of like using real-time punches and kicks and throws, you do it using a menu. And it's it's funny because like there's a real big kind of cultural what the hell's going on initially of like why would I ever play a game designed to be instant action broken down into an RPG? And the answer is, well, it's actually quite fun when you get into it. Now, for me, it took a while, and I've played it for a good few hours, and it did take a little while for it to click with me. And I'll explain more on that in a minute. But yeah, basically what you do is you select from a set of moves as you expect. They have different costs. The costs are accrued by time, so avoiding an enemy and timing when to get to them, and you'll get these points that you can use that are built up if you've done that. And also if you land better, more effective punches, kicks, attacks, blocks, that sort of thing, you get a points boost and then can take your action much more quickly. And that's predicated on what kind of enemy you're fighting. So it introduces all this very slowly, which again I'll come to in a minute. But yeah, you kind of like some enemies, they require a flurry of punches to break their guard. Some of them are vulnerable to a grapple and then a throw, and it depends on the enemy type. And sometimes it throws two of these enemies at you at the same time, and they're obviously a different. You need different fighting approaches for both. There are also like buffs. There's status conditions like bleeding or like a confused state and stuff like that. Even poisoned, stuff like that. So there's a lot in there. Now it frames it all with like a kind of obviously like a massive piss take of the genre. So there's loads and loads of cutscenes in between fights that are like you having a laugh at the expense of like Final Fight and Double Dragon and all of that. Your reasons for being there, your reasons for punching people in the face, all very satirized. And yeah, as I say, it looks like an NES game very deliberately. So all of that absolutely fine. Takes a little bit of getting into, get used to, but if you click with it, then it's quite fun.
Just before you carry on, not gonna lie,
yeah,
I passed this one on to you because I just assumed it was part of the Kunio-kun series when I looked at it, and I went, "Oh, this is right up Shu's street. He loves these side-scrolling beat-em-ups, and this is got to be River City Girls Kunio-kun Arc System Works or something like that." Apparently not. So carry on.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, a bit of a shocker, and yeah, quite rightly, and it's good when they mix things up like this. And the only issue that I've had so far really is the speed of it introducing abilities, which is really slow. So it took over an hour to get like a set of varied enough actions to make it kind of a bit deep and a bit interesting. So a whole hour of play, and I'm at least 3 hours in now, and it's still introducing new gameplay mechanics that are pretty core. And one of the reasons it's so slow is that the cutscenes are very frequent and they're very long, like text-based. And, some of the fights are a bit long as well. So the movement speed is the same as Double Dragon, which is, sedately paced. So I'm not sure how much. So I'm playing the original game, right? And there's just recently been a Ultra Remix DLC that's been released. And I think at least on PC, all previous owners get it for free. I think that's right anyway, but don't quote me on that. But it basically rebalances the game completely. It's got all sorts of quality of life changes and rebalances. So it might be a different experience. I'm going to go back and play it again now that it's updated and see what the differences are. It's the sort of game that if it sounds intriguing to you, I would say definitely go for it because it's interesting. And this new thing, but I'd say hold off until obviously our word is king. So wait until we tell you the full skinny on the Ultra Remix edition. But even before that, if it sounds up your street, maybe check it out because it's an interesting take.
So just to clarify, and this is a really interesting take on DLC actually. Anyone who had the bought the base game before the 4th of October when the DLC came out, basically got the DLC for free. But after that, it's £8.50. So it's rewarded original owners of the game. But if you buy it now, it's £8.50 on top of the base game, which is quite interesting. You usually don't see that with walls. You usually get like a Game of the Year edition where it screws original owners. So yeah, it's an interesting take.
It is. I'm not sure how to feel about the pricing. I can't really comment because it's been given a code.
And you've not played the DLC yet, so we don't know.
Exactly.
Yes.
So let's hold off on that debate. But it's an interesting one. I will say that a lot of your enjoyment will come from whether you enjoy the graphics. I personally think they're ugly as sin. I think a lot of NES games are ugly as sin. I think for one of the most popular consoles of all time, it's the one with like the ugliest colour palette, often the blockiest sprites. It was made to sing by certain developers, but just going with this, it is pretty ugly. And what I've done is I've put a filter in, a CRT filter, which really helps because it blends the pixels, makes it less chunky, smears the colours a little bit to make them a bit more blended. I would highly recommend, if you want to play the game but you find it a bit rough looking, chuck a filter into it and it will look better, because it is an ugly son of a bitch for me.
I'm a big believer, if you don't want to go full 16-bit SNES style, and you are gearing towards 8-bit, pretend there's a 12-bit or 14-bit.
Yeah.
Just up it a little bit. You can keep the style and the idea of it, but yeah, some of the sprites do look a bit ugly from the videos that I've seen. But I don't think it'd suit 16-bit at the same time. So yeah, I think it's pretend there's another generation between that you could have based this on, maybe.
Yeah, it lives in the limitations of the NES. It's like a nostalgia thing of even the speed that the menus pop up, which is really comparatively slow. It's all like, you could almost run this on an NES type situation. Obviously you couldn't, but it uses a lot of it. So if you're a big fan of that era and you want that experience again, it'll be there for you. But it's a very narrow range, I think. As I say, let's just park it and we'll talk about the rest after I've played the Ultra Remix. But yeah, it's a funny fish. It's a funny fish. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it looks interesting. I'm glad. I'm always big on developers, especially indie developers, trying something. That's the one thing I always go for, is try. They've not just gone, another beat 'em up. And I think that's great to see. It might not hit the bullseye every single time, but you didn't put it down immediately, so it's doing something, and that's always a good sign, I think.
Yeah, true, absolutely true. There's a lot of good in there as well. Yeah,
excellent. So moving on, another game I've been playing, which is just lovely. Considering the world's going to hell in a handcart, I've got a perfect way for it to get there, and that is via the rails, the tracks from station to station, which is it's a
David Bowie simulator.
Yeah, it is a David Bowie simulator. Bowie. I don't care. Stardust. Who cares? He wasn't a very good singer anyway, was he? I didn't mean that.
You better not.
I didn't mean that at all. Just trying to stoke controversy for the numbers in it. I don't know.
Yeah, too.
But yeah, station to station. It's transport management, like builder, city builder type puzzle game. It's really weird on where to put it, because it's not a full-on city builder where you're just constantly improving and building a city, but it's got those elements of city building and laying tracks and stuff like that. It's not a full-on tycoon manager, again, where you've got this constant building or this kind of simulation automation thing where it's constant. It's done on levels. So you do a level, you go, this is what you've got to do to complete the levels. You've got to make sure that this city or this town gets these ingredients, and you use the train network to basically bring things to other things to get them there. And each level has a scoring system. So you might go, right, okay, so the idea is to get all 14 different things to these 2 or 3 different cities. And then you'll have like subquests, which is, can you do it by spending only this amount of money? Can you do it by only using this amount of track? Can you do it without building a bridge? Those kind of little things are in there. Then it introduces cards and things that help you sort of like get little bonuses and so on and so forth. And it's it just builds up and builds up and builds up. So like the entire first area is almost like a giant tutorial, and then it kind of opens up a bit and gets really difficult in places. And it's definitely more of a puzzle game than anything else. And so where the puzzle elements come into it is like you earn money whenever you complete an objective. So you might need to get cheese to a town. And if you go to make cheese, you need to get milk to the cheese factory to the town. Now, if you was to go, right, let's start off and get the milk delivered to the cheese factory, it'll go, hey, you've completed that connection. And that connection's done, and you'll get like $50 or whatever you'll get for doing that, $75, which then obviously it might have cost you $45 and you earn 50, so you're only earning $5 for that track essentially. And then you go, right, okay, next we'll then hook it up to the town and you'll get another $50 or $75 or whatever. But if you work backwards and you go, right, let's link the town to the cheese factory and then the cheese factory to the milk distribution, then you get a stack bonus. So instead of earning 50 and 50 for 100, you might end up with like $260 for a stack bonus. And obviously the more you do, so you'll get like bread, you need to get like grain to wheat to the mill. So you kind of like build it up on 3 bits. So you might get bigger stack bonuses. But you can then use, and this is where the puzzle element comes into it, you can then use the same line to get like milk to the cheese factory, but going via the farms or the mills and stuff like that, so that when you finally hook it all in and you complete that last bit, you might get a massive stack bonus, and then you got like that'll help towards you like your money spent on building tracks, objective and stuff like that. And the more I'm playing, I'm like, I think, all right, I've got it all now. I've got this. It introduces these new mechanics that aren't new, but give you more things to think about, like a good puzzle game should. And it's very much, as I said, it's a logic-based puzzle game as much as it is a builder or resource management and things like that. And it's beautiful voxel art as well. It's absolutely stunning to look at. I absolutely adore it.
Well, it sounds absolutely amazing, and it looks absolutely amazing as well.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a stunning looking game, and if you're into that kind of thing, it looks like it could be one of the best ones of the year, to be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those where I want to play a bit more of it, because I got kind of sidetracked with other stuff, and it's one you can't just. You can, but you can't at the same time just pick up and play, because you might want to spend time going, right, let's really think about this. You really want to spend time getting it right. You might not be like, oh, let's pick it up for 10 minutes. It's not one of those games. So it's been trying to find the time to play it and spend the time it deserves. That it's not put me off, but it's meant it's not had as much game time from me yet to say whether this is right up there. But at the moment, yes, it is very, very close to being right up there. There's loads of lovely little touches. So, like, you go, like, look right down, you'll see, like, wildlife in the world and stuff like that. You'll get horses running alongside your tracks, and you can pet a dog in it. You could, like, if you touch a dog with your mouse, you get a pet the dog achievement, which in something like this just seems really bizarre. But it's just lovely at the same time. The water looks lovely when you see water. The trays are sometimes I almost want it to be an element where once it's built, you could just do things in the well, just watch the trains, or just get close to the trains and watch them do what they're doing, because I want that to be my reward. I don't think that's there. It's just kind of like, hey, you're done now. Do you want to carry on building stuff? And it's kind of like, I actually want to appreciate the diorama that I've built here. Now, whether I'm missing something, I don't know. But I feel that's maybe the one thing that I think is missing. That it doesn't give me a chance to maybe go and do proper photo mode or cinematic mode and stuff like that once I've completed a level. Hopefully it's something I've missed, because that seems like a bit of a massive oversight for how beautiful it is. But gameplay-wise, brilliant. And you can make custom maps as well, which I've not tried because I'm not very good at creating stuff. But yeah, this is going to have a long shelf life, I think. A very long shelf life.
Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, excellent.
But railway puzzles are the best. Trains are great.
Trains are great.
Yes, they are. But yeah, that's it. They're like 2 really nice, cosy games that I've been playing this week.
Lovely.
And then next week I get to talk about City Skylines 2 because I got it early and I'm going to brag.
Nice. Nice stuff.
Yes. But yeah, that's it games wise.
Well,
how we do for time?
I've got one more.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, but it only needs to be a really short kind of thing.
You know what they say about assumption, don't you?
Yeah, it makes an ass out of you and assumption.
It's the mother of all fuck ups.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah,
What's that from?
I don't know. I like it though.
That's from something. I'm sure that's from something.
Oh, probably. Yeah. But yeah, I've been playing. You challenged me to find the game with the smallest file size, and
yes.
I this is a while ago now, and I came back with I've bought Aliens Neoplasma for the Spectrum, and so I've been playing Aliens Neoplasma for the Spectrum, Spectrum 1 to 8K. So yeah, the beefy machine required. But yeah, no, I've been playing it on an emulator called Fuse, which obviously emulates Speckies, and it's really good. It's a 2019 game, and they've got kind of the template or the core of the Alien 3 games on the Mega Drive / Genesis and SNES. But whereas they were a bit kind of sprawling, and I never really clicked with them because they were kind of... There wasn't great feedback, there weren't great hit reactions, it wasn't a very satisfying... It was a mid-blend of kind of arcadey and not arcadey because things took too many hits and, reactions weren't great. Anyway, that's just babbling on. But they've corrected all of those problems with this game, which is kind of nuts. Because you're releasing a game, 20 odd years, 30 maybe, after that genre. And you're not only releasing something that improves on it, which you'd expect, but you're doing it on a system that is infinitely less powerful than the original systems. And what it's done it's stripped it down. So if you remember in the Alien 3 games, you could fire in all directions, a bit like Contra. But
yes,
in this you can't. You can only fire on one level in a standard run and gun way, and that really helps. That really helps because you don't have the aliens bouncing all over the place and you're trying to shoot them and then they're rubbing into you and knocking points off you. It's much more. They appear really quickly. They're way more powerful than you. If they hit you, you're dead. That's it. So you've got to be ready and. They appear like right in front of you most of the time, either a face hugger or a full-sized alien, and you've got to react and you've got to shoot. And you have a pulse rifle and grenades for it, and they have to be recharged at stations. So a lot of the bones of it, as I say, are very similar to what goes on in Alien 3, but it's much more arcadey, it's shorter, because the other game, that was way too big and way too boring and repetitious. This is only, I've played it for about an hour and a half, and I think I'm about half an hour off the end of it, so it's a couple of hour experience. It looks fantastic for a Specky game. Really good animation, really good sort of hit responses. As I say, it kind of, the weapons and the attacks feel weighty, and also like you think at first, there's not much nuance to it, but there's some little bits that I won't spoil where you need to use the grenade sort of strategically around the environment that make it quite, a bit more clever than that. And it's much more in a kind of impossible mission kind of a feel rather than, the Alien 3 kind of thing. It's sharper, it's explore a big building but not too vast, well, it's a spaceship, but you get my point. And
Yeah.
and it's got a lovely thing where the save stations are like progress points, obviously, but also the ship's AI talks to you. There's a unique message each time, and it's a very much kind of Hal / Mother from the original Alien film kind of AI that's actually hell bent on your destruction kind of a thing. It's very clever. It's very, very well put together. It's a handful of quid, playable via emulator, playable on original hardware as far as I'm aware as well. It's a really, really excellent game. I'm really surprised.
And where'd you get it from? Sorry, did you say?
I didn't say, but it's available from a website called zxonline.net, and they've got a storefront with quite a few different games.
Cool.
And it's available from there, yeah. And you have to buy like a digital license key. It says that it says the digital edition is free, but you have to buy a license key with it. So it's about £3.50, I think, something like that.
Yeah. That's how much you'd pay for a specky tape on the market.
Exactly. And also, I haven't played a lot of specky games of late, not many since about 1986, but it definitely stands as one of the best ones I've ever played, and I played a lot back in the day. Played a lot of them at my mates' houses. So yeah.
I did. I had the light gun and everything on my Spectrum.
Ah, did you? Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I never had one, but yeah, a couple of my mates did, and yeah, played some excellent. Target Renegade, I always loved. That was a really good game.
Operation Wolf.
Yeah, Op Wolf was pretty good. Head Over Heels, loads of good stuff, really. But this is definitely, I would say, one of the best specky games I've ever played, and really good.
Cool. Better than Seymour Goes to Hollywood.
Never played it.
You should do. Rectify that.
Ah, okay, I will.
I loved Seymour Goes to Hollywood. I don't know how well it's aged or anything. It might have been bad back in the day, but Seymour looked like a bit of a flattened Dizzy. It was a really weird looking creature, but I loved Seymour Goes to Hollywood.
Nice.
So, yeah, give that a look and then report back.
Yeah, I will do. But the last thing I say on this game before I stop is there is a physical edition available for €25. So if you've got the original hardware and you want to have a tape for it, you can buy that.
Oh god, that's so tempting just to have.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
No, I'm not going to. Because I've just found out as well that a game that wasn't previously on Steam, that was an Epic exclusive, talking of railway games, it popped up while I had my station to station thing up. Railgrade is out, and I really, really want that game, but I've got to be good because I'm poor. But that's out as of today.
Nice.
Is it the 13th? Yes, that's out as of today, the bastards.
It is Friday the 13th today.
Yes, it's really, really good. I know it's really, really good because I played a demo of it, and it's really, really good, and now I want it, but I'll wait. I've got to be good. I've got until the 20th.
Yeah, me too. I'm brassic. But yeah,
yes.
Yeah, fair play.
If anyone's listening,
Yeah, chuck us some cash. But I want to buy the Cyberpunk expansion, so give me some money.
I keep looking at that guy. Do you know what? I want that. I've barely touched the game. I can't get that. I've got to play some Cyberpunk, actually.
It's so good.
So, this is a weird, because pretty much done now, but Cyberpunk, I've maybe, half hour into it on the Steam version, and it's got, obviously, the new update. Do I have to start a new game to get the benefit of the new updates, or is it all just...
You don't have to, but it's got, again, big rebalance. So I think it refunds you all of the points that you've put in. So that's fine.
I'll put any in.
Yeah, I would recommend just starting it again if you're only half.
Yeah, if I'm only half hour in, I suppose.
Just start from scratch with all the new stuff.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think I've done that first bit where you do the underground garage mission. That's about as far as I got.
Yeah.
So I got further on the good old games version. And then I got it on Steam and then never got that far because loads of other stuff. But I might give that a go. It's still installed as well. It's one of those games, it's so big I installed it. I went, well, that's just staying on the Steam Deck now because I can't afford to just keep uninstalling and reinstalling this.
Yeah. Steam, have you got the Steam edition?
Yes.
Yeah. Steam, though, they might just make you download the whole new thing if you get the 2.0. But I don't know. Have a look.
No, it's updated. I think it's fully updated.
Oh, right. Okay.
So
okay.
I think I'm okay with that.
Oh, good.
Because I'm quite anal with like updates and stuff like that. I keep going, make sure I'm up to date with all of it, because I don't like seeing that menu with games in it.
Yeah.
The download menu. I was like, I've got to clear that.
Yeah.
Weird OCD things.
I get you.
That's it. I think we've gone quite a while actually.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about my blindness and stuff like that. Not going to lie, Stu, I can't be bothered.
Fair play.
At the moment, I'm in a fairly decent place with it at the moment. But yeah, what I will just briefly say is the one thing with disabilities that is, well, it's not the one thing that's a big pain in the ass. There's many things with disabilities that are a big pain in the ass. But the big thing for me is still gets difficult is when you're doing well and then you have a setback. Those first few days where you have a setback is the absolute worst, because it's just like you've got so used to doing everything again and adjusting and sort of going, right, this is good, I'm moving forward, and then you get hit by that setback and it knocks you, completely knocks you out. And it did me. I will talk about it another time, but I don't want to bring it up at the moment and go too deep, because I'm actually okay with things again at the moment. And yeah, opening old wounds, not old wounds, but wounds. I don't know. Save me, Stu. What do I do?
What do you do?
What do I do? I'm going to shut up now, Stu. Unless there's anything you... I keep doing this. I keep going this. I don't think about you. Is there anything you want to talk about?
No. Well, I think we covered it quite well in the first sort of 10 minutes. It's like it's a tough society out there. It's a tough world at the moment in the UK, and I mean everywhere. But obviously, I live in the UK, so that's what I can talk about. So it's difficult. So just I don't know. I always say I don't give out advice and then give out a piece of advice. But I suppose I do give out advice occasionally, and my advice would be recognise that things are tough and bad and do what you can about it, but also don't be afraid to take time for yourself and ignore it, like switch off from it and take pleasure in the things that you can take pleasure in, because life is short. We're not responsible for everything going wrong. We might be responsible for some of it, but do what you can about that, and the rest of it try and let it go by ignoring it, at least for periods of time in your life, so that you can get on and enjoy things whilst you're still alive, because none of us get out of it alive, so try and have a little bit of fun.
Yes, that's definitely it. Just enjoy things where you can, before the eventual demise of the human race.
Yep, it's coming.
And on that light note, I'm going to shut up now.
Fair play. So yeah, no, I mean that's kind of, I was joking. I have a pretty positive outlook on most things most of the time. So yeah, seek your pleasures where you may, and in the meantime, as part of that pleasurable journey and experience, follow all our content. Look at it on the website. Follow us on all the socials. Engage with us on Discord if you fancy a chat. And in the meantime, until next week, stay safe and stay sane.